Welcome back to my channel. My name's Marissa and I like to talk about books and book design. Today we have such a fun video because I am collaborating with my friend and fellow booktuber Emily from Once Upon an Emily Reads. Now, first of all, if you don't know Emily, go ahead and check her out, go ahead and subscribe because she is so cool. I love how thoroughly she talks about books and she just gives great recommendations, which is a great bonus for me because today she's going to be giving me some recommendations. So Emily and I created mood boards to send to each other so that each person could give the other recommendations based off the overall vibe presented in the mood board. And the fun thing about that is that both Emily and I are really trying to read through our physical TBRs this year. So I also sent her a picture of all the books on my physical TBR so that she could give me recommendations based off the books I already have. We love to hear that. So without further ado, I'm gonna watch the video Emily sent me. First time ever, this is a true reaction. I have not seen it and I have no clue what she's gonna recommend. The mood board I sent her was honestly such a random vibe, so let's see what she came up with. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna put it here so you guys can watch as well.
Hello and welcome back to Marissa's channel. My name's Emily and I love to talk about books. I'm literally so excited to bring to you what I'm bringing to you because this is a collaboration and this is my first collaboration that I've ever done with someone.
This is also my first collaboration, so I'm very excited.
I get to look at beautiful Pinterest photos and see Marissa's mood board and get to look at her bookshelf and see all the books that she has and hasn't read and kind of analyze the mood board and analyze her bookshelves and get to know more about her tastes and get her to read some books that I have read and that I'm really excited about her reading. So looking at Marissa's mood board, first and foremost, it is so very obvious to me that this girl is a graphic designer. And if you watch her channel regularly, she does really great redesigns of book covers and talks a lot about design and book covers over the years. She did a really great video on the evolution of romance book covers. So
I'm blushing.
All of the like plants and natural elements and then the little quote that says you are the art. I think that this mood board is really indicative of someone that loves dark academia and cats. And then we have like this kind of mysterious dark element to it that I would say like goes beyond dark academia and into like more of a gothic kind of fantasy element. So we have multiple genres. The overall like dark kind of tone of the mood board is giving me like very gothic, moody, I would think like flowery prose, imaginative words.
And you nailed it. Anything gothic fantasy, I eat it up.
Zooming in kind of on the bottom left, we have this circle of women. What are they doing? Are they performing a ritual? They're under like this kind of full moon and then like the black cat and the white cat is just all giving very much like it's cozy, it's nature, but it's also dark. And then we have this kind of like mysterious element with the little antlers that gives me very like dark academia, secret history.
When I sent her my mood board, I told her I didn't know exactly what I was going for, but they were kind of just some pictures I liked off a Pinterest board I have, and she just articulated it perfectly. I love dark, moody, gothic stories. I love the dark academia sort of vibe, but I do like it to go a little bit further and actually take on some darker themes. So I can't wait to see what she's gonna recommend.
And then the girl on the very bottom right also kind of stands out to me, like kind of a whimsical, strong female character, someone who the author allows to be flawed, if that makes sense. And then looking at Marissa's shelves, I am so excited to recommend Marissa Bunny by Mona Awad. I think that this book is just the perfect example of multiple elements of the mood board, specifically kind of the organic earthy aspect of it in a way, not like in an obvious way, but just kind of like the vibe, like almost like a the biology of it all. I hope that's gonna make sense. The animals obviously recommend me of Bunny. Like we have a bunny on the cover. Animals are big throughout it. And it is a very like dark academia, culty work of fiction. And I feel like this is a really, really good book that encompasses like the surreal, the gothic, and I feel like Bunny encapsulates like not only the overall mood and the vibe of the mood board, but some of the specific pictures I feel like really relate to Bunny. So Bunny is my #1 recommendation. You gotta read it. It's so good. It's unlike anything you've ever read. It's weird, it's culty, it's very surreal, like you will not know what's going on. I'm so excited. When I saw the mood board, I was like, thank God Marissa's finally gonna read Bunny and I get to recommend it to her, and this can be like the thing. This is, you know, just so exciting to me.
First recommendation, she hit it out of the park. I didn't create the mood board specifically to just be like Bunny, Bunny, Bunny. Like I kind of in a way thought it was maybe too witchy for Bunny, but I'm so glad that that's where we landed, because you're right, I do need a reason to finally pick it up, and I will.
The second book that I want to recommend, I feel like really relates to the gothic element, maybe like a little bit of a horror element that I see peeking through the mood board. So this book that I'm recommending next from Marissa's shelf is a classic, but it is an easy, extremely like easy to get through. It's not super fast paced, I would say, but it's a fast read. It's pretty short. And it's horror, mystery, literary, and like so gorgeously written. The thing that like kind of sold this for me is that this mood board kind of reminds me of like a gothic I Hate It Here by Taylor Swift. I think that I Hate It Here by Taylor Swift is a song that is so slept on, but like loved by so many readers, because it's this kind of picture that she paints of escaping somewhere inside of your mind. And I think that the main character of this next book that I'm going to recommend encapsulates escaping inside your mind, and she's a little bit wonky. She's a really like complex narrator that you can't help but root for. The book that I'm talking about is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I want to read first a quote that's kind of like a recurring theme in the book, which is the main reason that it reminds me of I Hate It Here. I am living on the moon, I told myself. I have a little house all by myself on the moon. These quotes about her living on the moon come up throughout the book periodically, and you can just kind of see her like not wanting to deal with reality and escaping to this place in her brain. The first line of the synopsis is delving deep into a labyrinth of dark neurosis. We Have Always Lived in the Castle is a deliciously unsettling novel about a perverse, isolated, and possibly murderous family. I just feel like the overall vibe is the mood board, and Mary Cat being the main character is really like selling it to me because the cat's on the mood board. So this is like a really great classic to knock out anyways, but it also is like perfect for the mood board.
Emily, you just get me. You get me. That's exactly what this mood board is. I feel so seen right now. I am technically in the middle of that one, actually. I'm like 30 pages in. Okay, another perfect pick from Emily. As I have already started this, I know that it is just like up my alley all the way. And it really does fit with the mood board. This is such a gothic, weird, but pleasant story. Thank you again, Emily, for just knowing me so well.
Okay, my final book is probably the one that is the furthest from the mood board in terms of like the dark academia of it all, but I do feel like it really fits in with the girls in dresses and the kind of fantasy element of it. It's very fast read. It's a YA book, complex sisterly bonds, and a blend of romance and mystery that challenges reality. And I think that that's kind of what made me ultimately end up choosing this book, is the part about it kind of challenging reality and feeling really whimsical, because I feel like this mood board, what with the not dead, still alive, and like the kind of magical looking mirror with the stars and the candles, and then like just seeing like women on it, like for the sisters. The book is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is part of a series. There's 3 books in this series. I would definitely not recommend this to someone who is not looking for YA like level characters and relationships. Like they're definitely young girls who we are in the brains of, so it's not gonna be as complex and dark and witty as like the bunny. But if you're looking for something fast and fun and colorful and still dark and mysterious, this is definitely a really great book to pick up. And I think especially if you're wanting something a little bit lighter, a little bit easier, not a classic, not something I have to think too much about, which is honestly such a vibe sometimes.
I'm familiar with Caraval. I have not read it, although I think I actually do own a copy of it, but it's at my parents' house on my shelves back home. But I'm going home this weekend, so I could theoretically grab it, and that way it's technically also off my physical TBR.
Those are the books that I would recommend you based on your mood board. They are all easy to get through, really thought-provoking, aside from Caraval, I guess. So Bunny and We Have Always Lived in the Castle, I would say, are really thought-provoking, and I think you're really gonna love them, and I'm super, super excited to see if you feel like they nail the vibe that is your mood board, or if we need to do this again. Okay, bye!
We absolutely do not need to refilm it because you hit it out of the park. I seriously feel like you were in my brain, exactly. So option 1 was Bunny, which fits with the overall dark, gothic, academia vibes that was on the mood board. And then number 2 was We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Similarly, this is a dark gothic novel with sort of weird, quirky characters. And the last one was Caraval, which fits because I had sort of a whimsy, magical, female present vibe, and I think I'm actually gonna read all of them. We kind of agreed we would only read 2 unless we felt like we had time for the 3rd one, but considering I'm already a third of the way into this and it's so short to begin with, why not? Oh my god, I'm so excited to read them. So I'm going to read them and then I'll come back to you with my thoughts on them and more accurately assess if they really fit the vibe I was going for on this mood board I created. And if you want to see the recommendations I gave Emily based off her mood board, then go check out her video. I'll link it in the cards and the description below. Surprise! We are here together in Austin, and now we can finally talk about our final thoughts on the books we read and how they correlate to the mood board. Let's also put in a little recap of what my mood board was looking like. I'm gonna go ahead and say, overall, I think you nailed the mood board. It fully captured it, but in a way that I was not expecting.
Okay.
Tell me what you were thinking about the mood board going into it.
Okay, so my main overall thought for the mood board looking at it was like, it's kind of a like darker fairy tale. Like we have the otherworldly aspects of it, and then we have like the female characters that are like in distress. We have like the shadow, the horns. It's just kind of like almost culty. The plants kind of make it feel like organic in a way, and so do the animals. Like we have the white cat that's kind of in like a moody field. Everything is very like dark, moody, but still like very earthy.
I love hearing you talk about it because I like truly my head was empty when I made that. It was just like a bunch of pictures from my Pinterest board. Everything you were saying, I'm like, that is so my vibe. Like dark fantasy, culty, plants. Mm-hmm. When I looked at it, I expected you to go in the direction of more witchy books because I think there is a witchy vibe there too, but I was so pleasantly surprised that you didn't do that because all these were kind of unexpected in the way they fit with the mood board. Let's first talk about We Have Always Lived in the Castle. This one I feel like fit really well with what you were saying about like the plants and the cat and how that it's almost like a dark magic, although there's not really magic in the book. It's more about like poison and using the like darker elements of nature. I just feel like the vibe is there, especially that like kind of the more creepier parts too. Really fit with this one. I give this one 4 out of 5 stars. I really loved it, especially for being such a short book. It really packs a punch. I really loved getting to know all of the characters and how the story sort of unravels. I think in a way that I did sort of expect it to go in that direction, but I wasn't like annoyed by that at all. It was more like satisfying for it to kind of unfurl the way I thought it would. And especially with the character Mary Cat, who is a lot of the time stuck in her imagination. She very often talks about like escaping to the moon and stuff like that. I think some of the elements that maybe weren't on the page in the story are like present in her imagination. So
yes, I feel like especially the stars kind of reminded me of all of her lines about like, I'm gonna be on the moon, and the lines about her being on the moon reminded me of I Hate It Here by Taylor Swift. Like I really felt that song in that book and it made me enjoy it so much.
She is too cute.
Piper.
Next, I picked up Caraval, which I really didn't know what to expect going into it because I've had this one on my shelf for years, but I never picked it up because I'd heard mixed things about it. I've heard a lot of critiques on the main characters being like whiny, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, especially now kind of having aged out of YA, but I ended up giving it 4 stars as well.
Let's go.
I loved it. I thought like just the world building was so unique of being set in this very like magical carnival land. I really haven't read anything like it, and I think it pretty immediately sucks you in. Like I really couldn't put it down. For all the critiques I'd heard, I like really wasn't bothered by any of the things. Like there are points when the characters are whiny, but they're also like 17. So I'm like, you can whine, girl, like I don't care. Mainly I just love the overall mystery of it and finding out more about the world, which I think fits again with the mood board so perfectly. This one has the most like magical elements that we see in here, like the stars. This like top right corner really feels like kind of a picture show mystery, like behind the scenes of like the performers maybe.
The dresses that the girls were wearing on this mood board too, like this book, and I feel like so many people hate it because of how overly descriptive it is and how many colors that they use, but I feel like this made me think of Scarlet.
I think this book also has a lot of like darker themes going on behind the scenes, which fits with the more creepy vibe presented on my mood board. So I really feel like this one was like a perfect mashup, which is so funny because I would have never picked it on my own and I would never have thought it would be the vibe of my mood board. I'd say we can consider this experiment a success because it's like, it's what I didn't know I needed, which is
amazing.
Perfect. And then last we had Bunny by Mona Awad. If you're not new here, you know that I've been putting this on like every single TBR for pretty much as long as I've had my channel, and I just kept not reading it because I was so excited about it that I didn't want to have too high of expectations and then be disappointed by it. But I can say now, I was not disappointed. It really did deliver exactly what I wanted it to. This one is one of those books where it's a very unreliable narrator, so you have to go into it sort of with your brain on high alert to be like, what do I really think is going on here? What is she actually saying? Sort of reading between the lines, which I think is some of the most fun reading experiences I've ever had with books like that, which is one of the best parts about Bunny is I think there's so many different ways to interpret it, but correlating it to the mood board and how I would interpret it, I think it's like, again, those darker images, especially that one where she's making the shadow with the horns. That one feels so Bunny to me. Having not really read a lot about it before reading it, I wouldn't have thought that's what it was, but it fits really well. That's sort of like, what are you seeing? What is like the altered image projected on the wall that they want you to see, but is it really what's there?
My first thought upon receiving your mood board and knowing that this was that I was gonna get to pick books was, oh my god, I finally get to make Marissa read Bunny. She's been talking about it on her channel and I've been talking about it to her, like, you have to read this book, it's so good, you're gonna love it, there's so much we need to discuss about it. And then literally I received the mood board and I was like, yes, Bunny fits.
Yeah, so that was a pleasant surprise. I think that was one that I kind of wanted you to pick, but I really didn't make the mood board being like, okay, pick Bunny, pick Bunny.
Yeah.
It sort of just worked out like that. Again, I think some of the nature elements work as well. I knew obviously there was some tie to bunnies, but I didn't realize how much they get into talk of like the actual creature of bunnies, and there are some like other animals present throughout the story. I think that fits well with sort of the creepy and the natural vibe.
Yeah, definitely the organic, and Mona Awad writes like a fever dream, and it's very polarizing. I've had a lot of people in my life that read them and hate them. Bunny specifically, because it's like, I had no idea what was going on at all. So like, if you're the type of person that wants to know what's going on in your book, which is extremely valid.
She breaks a lot of rules in a very interesting way, and I think that's what keeps the writing so fresh and exciting. And if you're like willing to lean into that and accept that you're gonna be a little bit confused, you'll have a lot of fun with it.
You haven't sent the rating and you haven't posted on your Goodreads either, and I'm like, what is she gonna rate?
Oh my god, I forgot. I don't think I've marked it as finished.
No, you haven't.
Yet. I finished this on the plane getting here, so very fresh in my mind. I'm landing also on a 4 out of 5 stars.
Okay, that's solid.
Which is funny because they're all 4 out of 5 stars. And I think I'm kind of a chronic 4 out of 5 star reader. I would maybe even give this a 4.5 out of 5.
Ooh, strong. Okay.
It was strong and probably my favorite of the bunch. Although I really did enjoy the other 2, like
love.
very close.
3 4-star reads is good.
Yeah.
That's solid. I wasn't sure about Caraval because of the critiques it's gotten, but I know that you read with an open mind and that you like YA. And I feel like the main critiques that I could see is just like how colorful Stephanie Garber writes, and how like I feel like color was like a really big thing in Caraval. Like she was always talking about the colors, and I was like, I could see how this would grate on someone, but like I'm into it, and it was the type of book that I was reading, and I was like, if I had read this when I was like YA age, I would have been so unhealthily obsessed with it.
Yes.
Like even as an adult, I was like, this is so good. Like I was sucked into that universe. I think I read all 3 Caraval and then like all 3 Once Upon a Broken Heart like pretty close together, and it was just like a period in my life like when you're just so into a series, and I was like, this when I was in the YA age bracket would have been life-changing, not detrimentally, but just like life-shaping, I think.
Yeah, I felt that way too.
Would you recommend having your friend send you a mood board and your physical TBR and recommending books? Would you do it again?
I would do it again.
I would do it again too.
It was such a fun experiment, and it like made me pick up books that I wouldn't have immediately picked up. Like obviously these have been like collecting dust on my shelves for many years.
It kind of gets you excited about like a book that you already have, because you're like, oh, that fits this like mood board of pictures that I have on my Pinterest vision board. Like, okay, twist my arm.
It's nice to have an outside perspective, because especially having not read it, it's like, well, how do I know if it fits the vibe I wanted?
Yeah, because sometimes, and I feel like this is like, you have the synopsis of the book and you have like the pacing and all the like literary terms, but sometimes I'm like, I need to know the vibe of the book, not like what it's about. Like I need to know the feeling that it's gonna evoke, and like I will sometimes look up like the book title aesthetic on Pinterest just to see like what's the kind of like vibe that goes with this, because I think that that's like really important and sometimes overlooked. It's just like the overall, what's the mood?
I think it was such a fun collab, and I love doing it with you, and I'm so glad we got to finally meet in person after being like online booktube friends for like a year. Thank you so much for being in my video and allowing me to be in your video, which now you viewer need to go watch on Emily's channel, because we're gonna wrap up the books that I picked for her based off her mood board. So you're not gonna wanna miss it.
Yay.
Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one, and we'll see you on Emily's channel.